you predict a healthy, happy marriage? It's an interesting question. We've talked about the Utah Healthy Marriage Initiative on the show before, and now we have maybe a survey that might be interesting for you to take or someone you know that's just getting married. Dr. Jeffrey Larsen is here, and also Amanda and Matt Sanchez, been married just over a year now, right, you guys?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about, before we talk to you two, they took this survey.
Right.
It's called Relate.
Right, the relationship evaluation, or RELATE.
What does that mean? What's it all about?
It's a comprehensive evaluation of a relationship, and this can be a dating relationship, a cohabitation relationship, an engaged relationship, married couples, remarried couples. Basically, it assesses the comprehensive nature of relationships in terms of individual traits, couple traits, and contextual traits that affect couple relationships. And it's not so much for acting like a crystal ball to predict whether or not you're going to be happily married. I'm sure that probably scared you guys if you thought that. But rather to get a couple talking about the strengths and the areas they need to work on in their relationship.
So it gets you starting to talk about some of the things that maybe
Correct.
you didn't even know about each other, because I think so many
Right.
times people get married and then they think it's all bliss, it's all wonderful. What are some of the things that you found in the survey that you thought, oh, this might be a little bit of a challenge?
Well, first of all, I learned that I can be really immature and disorganized.
That's just being a boy, sweetie. That's okay.
But he admitted
Thanks a lot.
it.
I know.
Which is a huge step.
That is a big step. I think some of the things that stuck out to me as well that were surprising were it points out your strengths and things that are problems for you now, but it also points out things that could be problems. So it kind of gives you a preview of, well, these aren't problems to us in our marriage right now, but they could be.
Now wait, did you take it before you got married or after?
We took it after.
After.
Yeah,
Okay, so then did it spur some conversations?
definitely
Absolutely.
did. I think one of the best parts about it was you get so caught up in your everyday life, work and school, that you don't really talk about your marriage every day, what's working, what's not working. So you take a couple hours and you take the survey, and it just, brings up things like what's not working, what can I do to help, like it's not always, she needs to work on herself, I need to do things too. So I think it spurs a lot of good conversation, definitely.
Amanda, what did you find about yourself after you took the survey?
That I think highly of myself, actually. I was a little surprised by the way the graphs would, just the answers that I gave and how the graphs interpreted those answers into, my perception of myself and then comparing it to my perception of him. And I realized maybe I'm a little conceited. I think things are, I don't know if I think too positively or ahead of time, but it really was eye-opening. It gives you, like he said, a reason to sit down and discuss those things that you might not normally.
Well, Dr. Larsen is a professor and director of marriage and family therapy at BYU, and you came up with this, not you said as a predictor, but gives you things
Right.
to think about and talk about.
Exactly.
Have you found areas that couples really need work on putting this together, and the areas they need to be talking about?
In general, we find couples are not very well trained or skilled in conflict resolution. I don't know how your scores showed up there. But many times premaritally people are on their best behavior. There's few things to fight about or argue about or have a discussion about. After you get married, probably in the first year, there's lots of stuff to start talking about. But sometimes couples avoid conflict. They're what we call conflict avoiders. And that usually doesn't work for very long, because then it's going to explode later. Some couples argue and fight and are more hostile. Other couples have pretty good skills. I think these guys probably are that group. But most people don't have a lot of experience or skills in conflict resolution. We just don't learn that growing up.
You talked about that you can do this before you get married or right after you get married.
Right.
What about if you've been married, or like you said, cohabitation? If it's been a while, can this help you in your relationships, especially if you're having difficulties?
Sure, we tried to make an instrument that is applicable to any serious, committed couple relationship. And so we have a remarriage version that has a special group of subscales where you talk about the influence of someone else's children on your marriage, the ex-spouse. A lot of issues come up in remarriage that don't appear in first marriages, and so we want to make this comprehensive. You can click through the different menus and find the specific questions for you and your partner, and that way have a more detailed discussion.
All right, Matt and Amanda, you've been married a year now. What's your advice for couples out there?
Definitely take the survey. Like we said, it gives you a reason to sit down and discuss some of those things that are kind of hard to bring up, because you learn about your style with conflict, and it helps you to know how to talk about those things.
Matt, just agree.
I definitely agree.
Right?
You're on
Whatever
your
she
way. Okay, go to www.strongermarriage.org. There's also utahmarriage.org, but I believe the surveys, right, on strongermarriage.org.
Yeah, you can click onto that
And we
find
can link you from our website, make it easy for you, abc4.com, and then click on Good Things Utah. But that's interesting for you and your spouse or whoever you love to sit down and talk about those things.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
was very well said when you said most couples just don't take the time and energy to do it.
That's
They just
right.
assume everything's good, and you get so busy, like you said, most couples don't take the time unless they have a vehicle to do that like this.
And this will get you doing that.
I'm glad we have a survey now that says men can be immature.
Well, we knew that.
Good to see you guys. All right, coming up next, we are showing you the latest in fall fashion.